All right, we're about to go on a journey, deep inside the microscopic world. We're going to uncover these absolutely incredible high-speed transportation networks that keep everything, and I mean everything, from the tiniest plant all the way up to you and me, alive and kicking.
So let's start with a puzzle. How does the air you breathe actually help you wiggle your toes? I mean, it sounds simple, right? But the answer, well, it unlocks this whole hidden world inside of us. It's a logistics system that is so perfectly engineered, it runs 24/7, and get this, without a single traffic jam. Ever.
Okay, to really wrap our heads around this, let's think of it like this. Your body is a bustling city, a massive one, with trillions of individual houses. Those are your cells, of course, and every single one of those houses needs fuel. It needs oxygen, and it needs someone to take out the trash. So how does a city that big manage it all? Well, it runs on the ultimate delivery service.
So in our city analogy, what are the delivery vehicles? And what's the cargo? Well, believe it or not, they're one and the same. It's our blood. But, it is so much more than just a red liquid. It's really the river of life. I mean, here's the official definition. A fluid connective tissue. And that word right there, tissue, that's the key. That tells you that blood isn't just some passive liquid sloshing around. No, it's a living, functional system, just like your muscles or your skin. It's actively connecting every single part of your body, making sure no cell is ever left isolated.
And a foundation of this river of life, it's something called plasma. You can think of it as the liquid highway itself. It's mostly water, and it's what makes the blood flow possible in the first place, carrying all the other important stuff, all the cells, nutrients, and waste products along for the ride.
All right, now let's meet the city's tireless delivery fleet, the red blood cells. I mean, picture each one as a tiny microscopic truck, and it's packed with a special protein called hemoglobin. This stuff is amazing. It just grabs onto oxygen in the lungs. Oh, and it's also what gives blood that signature red color. These guys are the ultimate couriers, making sure every single last cell gets the oxygen it needs to do its job.
Now, of course, every city needs protection, right? Well, that's where the white blood cells come in. They are the security patrol. Think of them as the defenders, constantly patrolling the bloodstream on the lookout for invaders like bacteria and viruses. When they find them, they neutralize them, keeping our city safe and healthy.
Okay, so what happens if there's a breach in the city's infrastructure? Like a cut or a scrape? That's where platelets jump into action. These aren't even whole cells, they're tiny fragments, and they act as the emergency repair crew, rushing to the scene of the injury to form a clot and seal the leak before you lose too much blood. Pretty clever, huh?
So you've got all this traffic, right? Well, it needs roads to travel on. And our bodies, they have an absolutely incredible network of highways, avenues, and tiny little side streets. We call them blood vessels. And get this, if you were to lay them all out end to end, they'd stretch for 60,000 miles. That's just mind-boggling.
Okay, so let's break down the two main types of highways here. First up, you've got arteries. These are the big ones, thick, muscular, built to handle high-pressure blood that's rich with oxygen, flowing away from the heart. Then you have the veins. They're a bit thinner, and their job is to carry the low-pressure, oxygen-poor blood back towards the heart. And veins have this really cool feature, tiny one-way valves to make sure blood doesn't flow backward, especially when it's fighting against gravity.
But just when you think you've got the rules down, biology throws in a plot twist. Of course it does. That whole rule about oxygen-rich arteries and oxygen-poor veins, well, it gets completely flipped on its head for one very special trip, the one between the heart and the lungs. On this route, the pulmonary artery is the one carrying the used oxygen-poor blood to the lungs, and the pulmonary vein is what brings all that fresh oxygen-rich blood back. A cool little exception.
So if arteries and veins are the major highways, where do the actual deliveries happen? Well, that's on the tiny little neighborhood streets, the capillaries. These vessels are so small, they're microscopic. And this is where the real action is, where the red blood cells finally pull over, drop off their oxygen packages, and pick up the waste from each individual house or cell.
Okay, so you've got your city, you've got your roads, you've got your delivery trucks, but all of that is useless without an engine, right? A central power station to keep everything moving. And in our bodies, that amazing, non-stop engine is the heart.
And what an incredible organ it is. It's made of this unique type of muscle, cardiac muscle, that literally never gets tired. Think about that.
From before you were even born until your very last moment, it just keeps beating, contracting, relaxing, in that steady rhythm, pumping blood through your entire body without ever taking a break. It's just amazing.
And the way it works is a masterpiece of efficiency. It's basically a double pump system. So the right side of the heart, its job is to handle all the used blood, the stuff that's already made its deliveries. It pumps that blood to the lungs to get a fresh refill of oxygen. Then that fresh oxygenated blood comes back into the left side, and the left side, well, it's much more powerful. It gives that fresh blood a mighty push to send it out to the rest of the body. This whole separation is brilliant because it makes sure our cells are always getting the most oxygen-rich blood possible.
So this whole system is just elegant, it's amazing. But it kind of raises a question, doesn't it? What about other life forms? I'm thinking about plants. How did they manage their deliveries? They don't have a heart that beats. They don't have a circulatory system like we do. So how does a city with no central engine get its water and nutrients where they need to go?
Well, let's dive into that. We're going to explore this silent but totally ingenious system that powers the entire plant kingdom. It's a completely different approach to transportation. Forget a powerful muscle. This one relies purely on physics.
So instead of blood vessels, plants have their own kind of plumbing system, made of two specialized tissues. First, there's the xylem. Think of these as the pipes that carry water and minerals up from the roots. Then you've got the phloem. Those are the pipes that transport the sugary food, the stuff they make in their leaves, down to the rest of the plant.
But wait a minute, how does that water move up? It's fighting against gravity and there's no pump. The secret, well, it lies right here, in thousands of these tiny, microscopic pores on the surface of the leaves. They're called stomata. You can think of them as the plant's mouth and nose, opening up to breathe in carbon dioxide.
And here's the genius part. As the sun shines, water evaporates out of these tiny pores. This process is called transpiration. And as that water leaves, it creates this powerful suction force. It's just like sipping through a straw. That tension pulls the entire column of water all the way up from the deepest roots to the very highest leaves. It's this amazing, silent engine, powered entirely by the sun.
So when you look at it, whether it's the circulatory system in an animal or the vascular system in a plant, what we're really seeing is the result of billions of years of evolution. The result is these perfectly efficient, self-repairing logistics networks. It really leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? In our own world, where we're struggling with traffic jams and energy crises, what lessons could we learn from life's ultimate delivery service?